And the unique aspect of it, because there are no such scale alternatives at the moment. We have some big store problems, but let's first define what does the big store problem really is. Well, how big is our store? It has a 60,000 of SKUs across the multiplied by 35 websites. And this means that basically we have somewhere around 2 million of products which have a 15,000 attributes in total. And as you know, Magento could have a little issues running more attributes than usual. So a little, small, but very important optimizations had to be done on that side as well. Also, we have 87 real-time stock sources, which means that we have to update and keep our product pages always up to date, because our clients, they are coming and they are trying to check, is this product available in their nearest store, etc., etc. So this is very important, and for this, we need something very special to happen. We need to have only one data source, because otherwise, the synchronization could take time, and the implementation of this mechanism to synchronize the stocks, it could be a real pain for you, especially if you are doing this from scratch. And then the cherry on top of this all is that we need to leverage a freaking high load, which is 15,000 of customers concurrently concurrently browsing the website. And on top of it, you need to leverage this 2 weeks after the release. So it's business. This business, what do you think? That 2 weeks after release and they are putting the Black Friday on it? They could lose a lot of money, don't you think? So that's a really high risk. And they were common to generate 250 requests per second. But because we were building a foundation, not a solution to current problem, we needed to dream more. We needed to have we needed to stress test this solution much better. So basically we doubled the amount and planned for 500 requests per second. How? This is not simple GET request or READ request. We were testing both read, writes while running the indexers on the Magento database and the Magento itself, plus synchronizing the stocks, because this is the exact situation what will happen on Black Friday. And if we fail, basically the customer will consider this project as a fail, because if you cannot deliver, well, you're pretty much, you know this word, yeah? Then how did PWA scale? How did this felt at such scale? Well, it turns out it was really easy, because out of 6 months of this project delivery, 2 were spent delivering PWA part, and 4 other months were spent on ERP integration, PIM integration, because in the end of the day, it was a migration from Hybris to Magento plus Akineo. Well, yeah, so here we go. But how we were able to achieve such quick implementation, only 2 months? Well, that's because the key features of Magento were already there. But this solution that we had this already implemented and thought beforehand. Well, the multi-store, the multi-currency, the CMS blocks, the widgets, everything is there, and it's working out of the box. So basically, you can take your normal Magento instance and use it as your theme right away. Scanty PWA as your theme. And then the Magento GraphQL. I want to thank Magento for bringing the GraphQL in. It's the best present they could give to me. Because when combined with Varnish, it really can achieve the amazing results. You no longer need to handle this full-page cache problem when you consider that if you change a product, all pages containing this product would flush, and then you need to request additional categories and blah, blah, blah. What was on those pages? Now we can simply leverage this data by decoupling it one from another. Now your data is cached separately, so if you change one product, you will only regenerate those products, those data sources where this product was returned. And this means we are really effective in terms of performance, because now we load Magento much less. And then comes the data integrity, which is by design in the solution chosen by client. Once again, I have already mentioned that for stocks and for a real big amount of integrations into Magento, once again, the PIM system, it still puts all the products into the Magento. Imagine us trying to synchronize the Magento and the middleware layer, which could be possible there. So it would be real hard, and we would need to put additional resources into it. We didn't have these resources. The customer chose this because this was a cost-efficient solution, finally, in the end of the day. Well, so the Magento as a data source is really important for this project, because we're dealing with the usual Magento issues and not the issues with our middlewares or any layers in between us and Magento. Well, guess what the biggest fail of us was? It's the crawlers. Well, the crawlers are complex, but well, how you optimize this PWA for it? How you optimize the client-side rendered application for it? You need to leverage a pre-render solution. Well, Google recommends you a rendertron or pre-render, but then when you try to use it on this scale, we have 1 million of URLs which has to be crawled. And then you consider that this HTML, it has to be generated by a real browser. So which means that the browser should be started, and then the URL should be opened, and then the HTML should be got from it. And if you consider this operation, it's pretty heavy, so you need some good calculation to do it. But then you also add that you cannot really cache it with your normal solution, so Varnish won't work, because it uses in-memory cache, and the amount of content we need to cache here, it's freaking a ton. So basically 1 million of URLs multiplied by the HTML amount we needed to cache. Yeah, that's challenging, and that's what we needed to think about. And then you add the 15 requests per second, which Baidu, Yandex, and Google can generate when combined together. You really need a robust solution, which we hadn't found in the market, because Rendertron failed, and the pre-render failed, and the pre-render cloud then also failed, but pre-render cloud was good enough, but it costs a lot, and once again we were seeking the cost efficiency. So in order to implement the crawling for such scale, we needed to develop a custom solution, which was based on a Golang, supported multi-threading, and was able to produce a very efficient and very reliable content, the HTML content, to give to our crawlers. And most importantly, we used the disk as our cache storage. So yeah, the performance dropped a little bit now, in not 80 milliseconds in response, but 200 milliseconds, but still a very big advantage if you compare it with 80% of successful renderings of Rendertron and so on and so on. So well, why doesn't change slides? Well, nothing happens. Can somebody help me and put the next slide in? Pressing the button. Yeah, you see, that's the celebration. How many confetti did we fire? A lot of it. And you see me, that's me standing. You see, I'm throwing the confetti which has already fallen to the ground. And that's the celebration part of developers. But what about the merchant which we initially made this product for? Did we met his expectations? Well, turns out we did, because the conversion rate increased by 26%, speaks by itself, don't you guys think? And the average order value increased by 6%, and then you add the sessions amount increased by 25%, especially the organic traffic, which somehow with PWA always is a thing. And then you add this cost efficiency value, which you really made, the single team for web, iOS, and Android, not the team, but also the source code. This really makes your product really efficient. But should you stop there? Of course not. It's to be continued, because the Technodome has other business requirements which we still need to implement. The phase 2 of the project could have more exciting features to come, and the PWA optimizations and SEO optimizations, like, for example, scoring the 100 in the Google Lighthouse audit. Well, as the previous speech mentioned, it's important to leverage images properly in order to do this. But despite what solution they advised, we are planning to simply use the proxy servers, like simple proxies that would just integrate between you and your images, you and the images where they are stored, and generate the VIPs on the fly. Yes, that might be not efficient, but that might be inefficient in terms of sizing, etc., but it will still make the job possible, job done, and it will be very cost efficient, because you're simply proxying it and then caching by your normal caching solution. Well, the code splitting, yeah, that's another thing we already made but haven't yet released to Technodome. That's in core, but not in the Technodome. So multiple optimizations which we did for a core are now have to be made in the Technodome back. But overall, we are pretty happy with what we got. Are you guys happy? Are you guys excited to try it? I'm waiting for your questions. Well, thanks guys, that's it.
Questions? Which side?
Yeah, you told us about your failure scenario for crawlers. So you moved from in-memory to disk caching.
Correct.
You mentioned there was an expensive solution that you tried but didn't go ahead with. What was that?
It went nice. It went nice, and it was handling all the requests, except they needed to change their own infrastructure in order to implement this. But this is the pre-render cloud, which I'm really thankful to. Their team is awesome, and their support is awesome, while still we were forced to decline the long-term cooperation with them because our client wanted some more efficient, in terms of cost, solution.
Okay, so all the pre-renders were stored in the cloud and served from there, and that was the cost.
Basically, what is pre-render cloud? It's a solution which is basically a proxy. So you proxy your request throughout it, and then it just takes the browser up, tries to load your page, and gives back the HTML. Why you need a cloud for it? Because if you plan to scale it, if you plan to have 15 requests per second, you might consider doing this while scaling. Yeah. So this is why cloud is an option. But when you rewrite it to Go routines and some multi-threaded solution, you're good as well.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Second one.
Hi, I'm Shikha.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, in optimization section, you have mentioned that is code splitting. So can you explain me what it is? Or it is that utilizing the code in multiple components, multiple reusable components, or it's something else?
Can I ask you, what you mean? Do you want me to answer what is the code splitting, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, well, the code splitting means delivering the bundles to your web page separately. So instead of one big bundle, you split it in chunks, and then you ship them all together on demand. And this is what Require.js is able to do, pretty much, and that does it for Magento. But Require.js is no longer supported, basically, because I saw the last commit there 2 years ago, so we used something different, which is Webpack. And basically, this allows us to ship only those scripts which are needed to render current page, and then prefetch or preload other scripts which will be soon used. So this is what pretty much the code splitting is. It's an ability to import scripts in a async manner.
Thank you.
Thank you.
One more.
This is like a normal question and off the track. I have this PWA was introduced in Magento 2, right?
Magento 2.3.
Yeah, 2.3, yeah. Now I have a Magento 1 website, okay? I have so many clients, I have so many products, and it is very difficult to migrate from Magento 1 to Magento 2.
You're absolutely
okay?
right, and we have an answer for you.
I have to implement PWA in Magento 1 website. What is the procedure?
Let me tell you. Well, first of all, because we care about you as
Somebody's selling.
there is a very big amount of, that's exactly what we are doing. Well, basically, there is a very big amount of people who are still struggling to migrate from Magento 1 to Magento 2, because, well, it's costly. So what we provide to you is a tool which is completely handled by us, it's open source, to migrate the data. Plus, we give you the hosting solution so you can modify it later on. So basically, what I'm saying to you is that with this, it won't be available on Magento 1 because how deeply we integrated this into Magento 2. But what we want to say is this: with all performance optimizations we did and all interesting code decisions we made, this could be a worth investing in terms of migration, but this shouldn't be costly, Well, it should cost very small amount. Well, we're using open source tools in order to achieve this, so we're giving you the freedom to do it and to promote to your clients, While the tools will be free, so the agencies could use it. However, and basically that's the goal, that's the plan. You now can sell the client PWA and tell that, it's a reason why you should migrate to Magento 2. Well, you see how great the user experience is. If you have seen the demo, I think they will be convinced in a matter of hours.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.